Have you ever stood before the mirror, gazing at the wrinkles at the corners of your eyes and wondering, where did the years go? Do you ever feel that age has not only taken away your youth, but also stripped you of the ability to love yourself? If the answer is yes, please know that you are not alone. Many people, as they enter the later stages of life, are often overwhelmed by regret, lopsided comparisons, and a quiet fear of their own fading worth. However, there is a truth that has always been whispered through the wise teachings of the Buddha. Old age is not the end of love. On the contrary, it is the beginning of a compassion deeper and more profound than any stage you have ever experienced. When your hair turns silver and your body slows down, that is when the world invites you to turn inward to discover the treasure of love that has always existed within your soul. This video does not teach you how to deny reality or cling to the past. Instead, we will open our hearts together to the beauty of impermanence, the stillness of self-acceptance, and the power of compassion. Through 6 practical steps based on Buddhist wisdom, you will learn how to embrace aging as a sacred teacher. You will know how to let go of self-criticism, honor your own resilience, and realize that right now, you are already completely worthy of love. In particular, at the end of this journey, I will share a bonus lesson to help you see your flaws in a radiant and fresh light. Teaching 1. Impermanence as a teacher. The first and most core lesson that the Buddha taught is impermanence. This is the truth that all things are born, change, and eventually fade away. Please understand that this is not a punishment or a cruel fate, but simply the natural rhythm of life. The fading of youth, the decline of health, or deep-set wrinkles are just like the setting of the sun, or the falling of golden leaves when autumn arrives. When we are young, we often see impermanence as something distant, as if old age only belongs to someone else. But as the years pass and the body begins to speak through aching joints or a slowing memory, we realize that impermanence is not just a theory, but a companion. Many people choose to resist, trying to hide gray hair with dyes or erase wrinkles with cosmetics to chase the illusion of eternal youth. However, the more one fights against the flow of time, the more the soul suffers. The Buddha invites us to perceive this change in a different way. Impermanence is the very teacher that shows us how to love. Precisely because everything changes, we learn to cherish what we have. Because the body is inherently fragile, we learn to care for ourselves more gently. To love yourself in old age is to bow before the laws of nature with gratitude. Instead of complaining that you are no longer as you once were, smile because you are a part of the vibrant flow of life. The seed of love will sprout when you allow impermanence to soften your heart instead of letting it become hardened. Teaching 2. Letting go of the mirror self. Most of us, unconsciously, often build our self-esteem based on the reflection in the mirror. We identify our self-worth with smooth skin, firm muscles, or bright eyes. However, as time passes, that mirror begins to change. Suddenly, the silhouette we once admired becomes a stranger, even difficult to accept. This clinging to outward appearance is one of the greatest sources of suffering as we age. The Buddha taught that this physical body is not the true self. It is like a borrowed garment, useful and beautiful for a period of time, but never truly belonging to us forever. When you stop being obsessed with your appearance, you will begin to see everything more clearly. Wrinkles are not flaws. They are the strokes of calligraphy, recording the marks of a life well lived. Each line tells a story of smiles, tears, perseverance, and love. The changes in your body are not signs of loss, but reminders that you have walked a long and meaningful journey. Consider this. If your value only lied in your looks, Would everyone lose their worth as they grow old? That is not the truth. What we cherish most in a person, such as kindness, patience, and wisdom, usually only deepens with the years. So, why are you so hard on yourself? To love yourself in the twilight of life, practice shifting your perspective. When looking in the mirror, instead of asking, "How do I look?" ask, "How deeply have I lived? How much compassion have I shared?" In doing so, you step out of the narrow prison of appearance to discover an eternal love rooted in the beauty of the soul. That Teaching 3. Compassion for your journey. Pause for a moment to reflect on everything you have gone through in this lifetime. Think of the severe illnesses you resiliently overcame and the heartbreaks that seemed unbearable, but eventually transformed into the stillness of wisdom. Recall the countless long nights spent awake worrying for loved ones, the disappointments you endured, the mistakes you made, and the courage it took to stand up after every fall. Your presence right now, with every steady breath, is already something extraordinary. The Buddha often reminded us that compassion is not only for all living beings, but also for oneself. However, as people grow older, many do the opposite by judging themselves. They look back at the past and agonize. "I should have done more," or "I should have been different." But imagine if a dear friend had walked through the same storms. Would you release harsh criticisms upon them? Surely you would take their hand and say, "You have worked so hard. I honor your strength." This is precisely the time you need to practice compassion for your own journey. See your scars not as failures, but as evidence of endurance. Every hardship has molded the person you are today. Every fall has taught you humility, and every loss has expanded the space in your heart to hold a deeper love. Buddhism does not ask us to be perfect. It only asks us to be awake to see clearly both the shadows and the light in our lives. Tonight, when you are alone, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I have lived, I have persevered, and I am completely worthy of love." Just this small act is enough to plant the seed of peace, helping self-love bloom regardless of age. Teaching 4. The practice of gentle speech. Words possess a great power. They can heal or inflict deep wounds. The Buddha taught that right speech is one of the essential steps on the path to liberation. This applies not only to how we communicate with the outside world, but is also extremely important in how we talk to ourselves. Try observing the streams of thought flowing through your mind. Many older people unintentionally repeat harsh phrases like, "I am old and weak now," "I'm no longer of any use," or "My best days are behind me." These words sink deep into the heart, creating a prison of negativity and eroding self-esteem. But what would happen if you replaced them with gentle words? Instead of complaining that you are too old, say that you are a person seasoned with wisdom. Instead of reproaching your frail body, be grateful because it has devotedly carried you through so many ups and downs. Instead of believing that your golden age is over, affirm that the present moment is a priceless gift to be cherished. Practicing gentle speech is not self-deception or a denial of reality, but a choice to nourish the soul with kindness instead of despair. Just as a tree grows healthy when watered with cool streams, your heart will become lighter when soothed by words of loving kindness. You can begin this every day. Early in the morning when you wake up, give yourself a gentle sentence. "May I be peaceful and know how to be tolerant with myself today." Before falling asleep, remind yourself, "I am enough exactly as I am right now." Over time, these words will become natural, helping to dissolve old habits of self-criticism. Remember that the way you converse with yourself will shape your entire inner world. When you speak gently, your heart will respond with profound peace. Teaching 5. Embracing solitude as a friend. As you step into the later years of life, stillness often appears more frequently. Children grow up and establish lives far from home. Friends become fewer, and the hectic whirl of work fades away, giving way to long, quiet days. Initially, this change can create a sense of heaviness, a painful reminder of what has been lost. Loneliness often creeps into the mind, whispering that you have been forgotten, that your presence is no longer necessary. However, Buddhist wisdom teaches us that there is a vast distance between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the feeling of lacking something to be complete, while solitude is the gentle recognition that in this very moment, you are already a unified whole. The Buddha himself spent a large part of his life in silence. He sat beneath ancient trees, walked alone in deep forests, and meditated in secluded places. Through this, he discovered that it is precisely within the quiet that we can hear the most authentic sounds from the depths of our own hearts. To love yourself in old age, begin to transform loneliness into a friendship with yourself. Instead of seeking to fill the silence with external distractions, try to sit down and feel your breath. Observe the flow of air entering and leaving your body, feeling each breath supporting you through every moment. In that stillness, you will meet your most loyal companion, which is your own awareness. Solitude will become a great teacher, showing you that you do not need validation from the outside world to feel your value. You begin to realize that wholeness is not measured by the number of people around you, but by the depth of your presence right now. You can set aside a portion of time each day to be with yourself as a true act of love. Light a candle, sit quietly and simply breathe, or walk slowly in nature to gaze at the sky and the earth. Instead of thinking that you are solitary, understand that you are harmonizing with the greatness of life itself. When stillness becomes your soulmate, you no longer fear an empty room, because you realize you always have your breath and consciousness as companions. This gentle friendship is one of the highest forms of self-love. Teaching 6. Seeing yourself as part of all beings. In the profound teachings of the Buddha, there is a truth we often forget. No self exists in complete isolation. We are all inseparable links in a vast and intricate web of life. When you understand this clearly, your mind will transcend narrow personal anxieties to enter a broad love that encompasses all species. Reflect for a moment. The breath you are inhaling is a gift from lush green forests, where trees transform sunlight into oxygen. The food that nourishes you is created from Mother Earth, under the caring hands of farmers and raindrops from high above. Every aspect of your life is woven from countless different conditions. You have never been alone. You are the universe expressing itself through this form. When we lose awareness of this interdependence, we easily fall into the deep pit of self-doubt and inferiority. You might think you are small, ordinary, or that your life no longer holds any value. However, when you recognize this connection, you will see that your very presence is a gift to the whole. A warm smile of yours can light up a stranger's heart. Your patience can soothe a child's soul, and your quiet wisdom can guide young people who are feeling lost. Therefore, loving yourself in old age is not selfish. It is an act that brings about harmony. As you become gentle with yourself, the compassion within you will naturally radiate to everyone around you. To nourish this awareness, practice loving kindness meditation. Sit quietly and pray, "May I be peaceful, healthy, and at ease." Then extend that intention outward. May all beings be peaceful, healthy, and at ease. At this point, the boundary between the self and the world will gradually dissolve, You will realize you are like a wave in the ocean. Though you may rise or quietly fade away, that wave is never separate from the vast sea. Understanding this gives old age a completely new meaning. The body may weaken and the days may grow shorter, but your essence is immortal and always harmonized with the eternal flow of life. In Japan, there is an ancient and mesmerizing art form called Kintsugi. When a ceramic bowl or teacup is accidentally broken, the artisan does not throw away the shattered pieces. Instead, they meticulously join them back together using a special lacquer mixed with radiant gold powder. The cracks are not forcefully hidden. On the contrary, they are celebrated and made to stand out. It is through this healing process that the ceramic piece is no longer an ordinary object. It becomes precious and more vibrant because of the very fractures it has endured. This is a powerful metaphor for the human soul, especially as we enter the twilight years of our lives. Many of us, when looking back at the journey we have traveled, often see only the cracks. These are the mistakes that cause us lingering regret, the yearnings for a time long gone, the failures in our careers, or the breakups in our relationships. We view ourselves as flawed or damaged pottery and think, I am broken. I no longer have the value I once did. But Buddhist wisdom invites us to view this through a completely different lens. Much like the art of Kintsugi, the cracks in your soul are not evidence of worthlessness. They are the very places where your deepest wisdom and encompassing compassion can shine most brilliantly. Think about the moments when life forced you to be humble. The times your heart broke taught you how to empathize with the pain of others. Severe illnesses helped you appreciate the simplest joys. Painful losses opened your eyes to the depth of true love. These cracks, though painful, are the necessary openings for the light of awakening to seep in. The Buddha never promised a life completely devoid of suffering, for suffering is an inevitable part of the human condition. However, he showed us how to transform that suffering into liberation. Just as pure gold fills the crevices of broken pottery, compassion will fill the wounds in your heart. Every time you choose kindness after a moment of pain, every time you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, you are practicing the art of Kintsugi for your own soul. Loving yourself in old age does not mean you have to pretend you have never been hurt or try to cover up the marks of time. It means you perceive your flaws as part of a sacred design. Without them, you would never have become the profound person you are today. Consider this image. A young tree with smooth bark may be eye-catching, but it is the ancient tree with its gnarled trunk and weathered scars that offers the most refreshing shade to the world. Those knots are not defects. They are testaments to resilience and a fierce vitality through countless seasons of sun and rain. You too carry the imprints of time upon you. Instead of mourning them, consider them your unique beauty. When a memory of regret arises, instead of pushing it away, gently whisper, "This too is part of the pure gold within me." When you see the signs of aging on your body, instead of being sad, say, "These are the rivers carrying the silt of my life story." In doing so, you shift from rejection to a sense of reverence for yourself. One day, you will realize that the very things you once considered weaknesses are what created the greatest compassion in you. Those who hurt you taught you the value of kindness. The times you failed taught you patience. The moments your body slowed down taught you to cherish every step. What you once called flaws are actually the golden threads of Kintsugi painting the picture of your soul. Therefore, as you walk through the sunset of life, do not hide the cracks and do not apologize for them. Bring them into the light and let them shine. Your beauty does not lie in being perfectly unbroken. It lies in the way you have been mended with love, resilience, and grace. Remember, wholeness does not come from denying scars, but from honoring them as the places where your soul glows brightest. Now, let your mind rest in absolute stillness. I invite you to gently close your eyes. Take a very slow, deep breath in and slowly breathe out all your worries. Let your entire body relax completely, like a precious ceramic vessel resting firmly on the tolerant earth. In this peaceful space, visualize yourself as a terracotta bowl that has traveled through many years. This bowl carries upon it cracks and shattered pieces that have been joined back together after the upheavals of life. Do not seek to hide or deny them. Simply observe them with gratitude. Right at this moment, imagine a stream of shimmering golden light, warm and overflowing with love, slowly filling those cracks. The gentle light spreads, mending and embracing every broken fragment within your soul. What was once pain now becomes radiant, and what were once flaws now become extraordinarily sparkling. Let this light nourish every cell and, in the silence, whisper to yourself, "My scars are my strength. My flaws are my beauty. I am whole and I am enough." Spend a few moments enjoying this warm sensation, feeling the unique value of a life lived to the fullest. When you feel ready, slowly open your eyes, carrying this radiant golden light into every rhythm of your daily life. And so, our journey to rediscover self-love in the twilight years has reached its final moments. How can we truly love ourselves as the marks of time become increasingly visible? The answer lies in beginning to see impermanence as a guiding teacher, rather than a fearsome enemy. You choose to let go of the illusions in the mirror, to honor the eternal beauty of the soul. You learn to embrace the journey behind you with compassion, replacing harsh self-criticism with gentle words and loving kindness. You transform loneliness into an intimate friendship with yourself and realize that you have never been separate from this vast ocean of life. Much like the art of Kintsugi, the ups and downs and the fractures in your life do not diminish your value. Instead, they are the golden threads creating a radiant, unique, and proud being. The Buddha reminded us that true love has no boundaries and is not limited by age or outward appearance. In fact, that love often only truly ripens when we are still enough to let go of fantasies and embrace the truth of who we are. If these shared words have brought you peace, let that tranquility spread even further. Do not forget to subscribe so we can continue walking this path of mindfulness together. And please share this video with those who might also need a comforting embrace. Wishing you gentle days and a heart steadfast in compassion.